Hey, Ron here, once again, from the Beige Void, and I'm gonna try and make this short and to the point. I have this contention that I've been bringing up on Twitter, and I've decided to make a video about explaining my case. And that contention is that debate bros are to political analysis what Cinemasins is to film analysis. Hear me out. So the most immediate comparison to make in regards to both of them is that both Cinemasins and Debate Bros will, in any given situation, go for the easiest, most immediate solution to the problem that they're facing, whether that solution is appropriate or not. Let me put this a different way, a way that'll really explain what I'm getting at here. In television, the thing I'm talking about is called pandering to the lowest common denominator. If you've ever wondered why the political Twitter sphere is so toxic, it's because that toxicity appeals to certain people. It appeals to a lot of people. It provokes people's sense of danger, right? You hear about a thing, or you hear about a person, and then you hear through the grapevine, oh, thing or person bad. And you're like, oh, I don't want to be associated with a bad thing. I'd better drop them like a hot fucking potato. And this constant culture of sniping at each other and exposing, big air quotes, each other creates this really toxic, really venomous atmosphere, right? That's appealing to the worst instincts that people have. That's pandering to the lowest common denominator. And it's not good, quite frankly. There's this peculiar dichotomy where I'm reading from a script. There's this peculiar dichotomy where anyone who agrees with the group goes unchallenged and is encouraged, whereas anyone who challenges the group in any meaningful sense is met not just with hostility, but with wildly disproportionate hostility. Think of, for example, Destiny saying that BLM protesters had to be stopped by any means necessary, up to and including gunning down unarmed protesters, in the wake of Kyle Rittenhouse gunning down two unarmed protesters. Or think of Vaush saying that there's no difference between South Africa ending apartheid and the Saudi royal family enacting a genocide against LGBT people. Some people might call this behavior cult-like. I would not call this behavior cult-like because cults do much different damage in much different ways, and I'm going to spend a disproportionately long section of this video explaining what I mean by that. Does that mean I'm going to have to defend the people I'm criticizing? Oh my fuck. So maybe this is an entirely personal thing, but I don't think that it's useful or helpful to compare the behavior of your average dude bro debate me guy, let's say Vaush, with your average would-be cult leader, let's say Onision. Both of them are harmful, both of them do harmful things, but they do harmful things for different reasons and in different ways. One way that Vaush is harmful is because he is accidentally racist so consistently and so egregiously that he compels anyone with moral clarity on the matter to speak out, including people who had sworn off politics. One way that Onision is harmful is that he preys on young women. Both of these things are bad. Neither of them is remotely comparable. It should also be understood that the motivations of the thing are different. People like Vaush and Destiny and every other edgy shithead streamer that I'm only vaguely aware of fall into the trap of being accidentally racist because they're pandering to the lowest common denominator. They don't want to challenge the people who are watching their videos, and they don't want to challenge themselves. For people like Onision, or Jeffrey Epstein, or Jimmy Savile, the predation is the point. That was the goal the whole time. I feel that distinction is important because someone who makes a mistake, especially someone who makes a needless, harmful mistake, can be convinced to change. But you can't convince someone to change if things are going exactly the way that that person wants them to go. Didn't I say that I wanted to talk about how debate bros are like Cinemasins? Let's go back to that. So there's one more pernicious similarity that I want to point out that really explains why these debate bro types are more harmful than helpful in my opinion. And that is that the intellectual process of both Cinemasins and debate bros begins and ends with the assumption that they already know everything there is, and there is nothing more for them to learn. And I'm not going to sit here and make some trite argument about how not wanting to be wrong inhibits personal growth. Fuck you. I'm not your dad. But I do have two much more substantive criticisms of this mindset. The first being that it creates a feedback loop, where people get more wrong over time. So what happens is that people who already are convinced, other people who are already convinced that they don't have any more personal growth to do, that they have reached their peak, find this unchallenging content and support it. People find this content, they enjoy it because it's not challenging them, and they convince the person making it that they're the new hot shit. And the person making the content goes on to make similar unchallenging content, attracting more of the same people who tell them more of the same thing. It's like a feedback loop of mediocrity. This is less of a problem for Cinemasins because they're not pretending to be anything more than they are. They know that they're schlocky entertainment, and they're being schlocky entertainment. There's plenty of room for garbage. By volume, there is more room for garbage on YouTube than there is for anything else. But for political pundits, and much as I am loath to say it, these debate bro types are political pundits, that mindset is especially dangerous. These people who believe and who are being told that they have all the answers and that they have nothing left to learn are trying to alter the political landscape, when the biggest problem in our political landscape is that the people who are controlling our society believe and are being told that they have all of the answers and that they have nothing left to learn. You see the problem here? Putting more people in power who think that they have all the answers is not going to help anyone, and in fact is only going to make things worse. We don't want new shitheads in power, we want no shitheads in power. We shouldn't want people who have all the right answers, we should want people who will listen to us. We want less leadership through proclamation, and more leadership through cooperation. Something that I want to incorporate into my videos a bit more is quotes from Paul Brutton. And since I have some time off, and I have some time to read, I'm able to do that a little bit more freely. So, the fool of today is the wise man of tomorrow, if he lets his mistakes teach him. Not what he can do, but what he does matters. The bird of victory finally perches on the shoulders of the man who dares. And that's all I have to say about that. I'll say it out. Regular links are in the underbar. That's my Twitter and my coffee if you think this is worth paying for. Next video is probably going to be about liars. I have something to say about liars, specifically. Who lie? So, yeah, until I get there, go out and do something important and take care of yourselves, alright?